Alright, today we're going to talk about how to encode or re-encode your video files from the video cameras at Abbotsford Christian School, either the Sanyo or the Sony Handycam unit, so that you can utilize those files appropriately in Premiere, in Adobe Premiere for editing. Now we're using a program called Super C, and that is a free download, and Mr. Kears has that download if you need it on a computer. And basically it opens like this in the default setting here, where we have a bunch of different options where we can do things to video files, like merge them together, split the video or audio stream, or demux the exact streams, which is a great way to extract any audio that you might want from a particular video file. But we're not going to talk about that right now. What you do need to note, however, are these two radio buttons. The top radio button is the one that you're interested in, because this is how we can now encode your captured video from the cameras into the appropriate setting. So you want to check, as a standard, you want to make sure that you're selecting the AVI as your output, because Adobe Premiere likes that. We can choose either the MPEG-4 or the DivX codec. MPEG-4 will give you a little bit of a larger file, versus DivX will give you a smaller file. Both will work equally as well. So we can do that, and notice that as soon as I change something there, it flips some of our options here. And finally, the audio codec, which is probably the most important piece if you want to maintain your audio, is you need to change that from MP3, because Adobe Premiere doesn't particularly love the MP3s alongside a video stream. You want to choose WAV 16-bit right there. Now, first, in the video, we want to make sure that you're choosing the proper video scale size, and you want to choose according to whatever your project settings in Premiere will be. Now, most of you using DV video will default to 720 by 480, so you want to select that. Now, if you don't see this option, it's likely due to the fact that you've got a different setting here with this little checkbox. Again, you see now I don't have my 720. Click it again, just cycle through. There's 720 by 480, or I can select any of the other video scale size options I want. Moving along, ensure that your frames per second is at 2997, which is the NTSC standard for video. And our options are fine with high quality and 48K audio. Now, if we are going to consider our audio, if we're not using the audio, we can check disable audio just to take it out of our video. It's not important. We know we're going to be either voiceovering or just doing a music video. Don't take the audio. You don't need it. If you do need it because it's got important conversation that you want as a part of your video, I recommend going to a 44.1, which is the sampling frequency of a typical CD-ROM drive. Alright, so you've got all your configurations complete. What you need to do now is pull in your multimedia video files, which you've taken off of the cameras. And what we can do is just right click in there and add multimedia files. Now notice there's also the Control A option, which you could use as a keyboard shortcut. If I do that, I've already pre-selected my folder, and we see here that pulling it off of my desktop, I have desktop video from camera, which is where I've already collected my videos. There's two different videos here. One is from the Sanyo Handycam, the small form factor that you have here at Abbotsford Christian, and the second is the Sony Handycam. Now you need to note that the Sanyo video file came directly off of the SD card, which means I can import it onto my computer using any SD card reader. I don't need to do anything to it prior to this step. The Sony Handycam video, however, comes in a proprietary Sony codec, and so you need to open that using the Sony Handycam utility, either on Mr. Kears' computer, or we'll have it installed on a few others. And then once it's in that utility, right-click on the original file and select Convert to MPEG. That will give you this file. So we have Sanyo and Sony. Now to speed things up, I'm going to select both since I know they both require the same settings for Adobe Premiere. Open, you'll see that they open right down in this window, and they are both by default selected as active. Now if I'm happy with my selections up in the upper panes here, all I need to do now is say encode, and by default what will happen as I encode this is it's going to ask me, first of all, which optimization we want to use, and the DX50 is excellent, so just leave that default, select OK, and it's going to begin decoding. Now while it does that, you need to know that its default location for these files is the new files are put right back in the same folder that your original files were in. So in this case, both of these newly encoded video files are being put into the folder videos from cameras. So now I'm waiting for it here. We'll let that output. Number one looks to be complete. The Sanyo 03 MP4 is now converted to an AVI, and we'll see that in just a second. The second one is outputting. And Shazam, we have happiness. If I open that folder, video from cameras, you now see the original MP3, the original MP4 and the new AVI video clip. And you can see that here. If I right click and go into the properties of it, we can gather all the information we want, such as details here, and see that we have a frame width 720 by 480, here's our data, etc. The audio has been created, and we're all very happy with that. If I play that now, it'll look awful on this little video, but everything will work effectively. These two new files are now ready to be imported into Adobe Premiere. And you're done. Enjoy your video mixing. Bye-bye.